It would help if I had my mic. Hello, everyone. I am Simon at Wandering DM. Welcome to our 21st episode of Scion, Birth of the New Gods. We are playing Scion 2nd Edition. We have almost our full cast here today. We're missing one Morning, who unfortunately came down with a case of the COVID. So we're praying for a swift recovery for her and her family. And we're gonna keep playing. We'll just say that Morning is trotting along with the rest of the group, and she'll probably first opportunity that she has, she'll probably go back to the cottage to spend some time with Winnie. That said, let's go around the table. Let's introduce our cast while I get the music started, and we will pick up where we left off last time. Let's start with the person to my right on the overlay. Lynn, hi, how are you today?
I'm doing good. I'm Lynn, Flying Cirrus, and I am playing Dee, daughter of Inari.
And on the second line of the overlay, we'll start on the left and we'll go all the way to the right. So we will begin with Anino. Hi.
How's it going, everyone? My name is Anino. I use he, him pronouns, as does my character, Eddie Kahele, the quiet and unassuming son of the Monkey King.
Wow. That's like two lies and a truth. Up next, we have Robert. Hi.
Helps if I make myself as well. Greetings, everyone. I am Robert, otherwise known as KY Hawkeye on all the different social medias. Him, her, him, he, him, for those who need the pronouns and stuff. And I am playing Finbar O'Dugda, professor of Irish literature, and also secretly son of Ogma.
And last but not least, we have Hannah.
Hey, I'm Hannah, Hanimation Art on Twitter, Hanimation Studios everywhere else, she, her. And for this, I will be playing Kieran Kearney, Scion of Loki, who uses he, him pronouns and is adorable and trustworthy, since we're all telling the truth today.
Oh, okay. That's how it works. So I am Simon at Wandering DM, he, him, and I will not kill the characters today. So,
see what you all started.
Without further ado, which one of you would like to recap what exactly happened after you left the Tasty Oak in Niantic and decided to travel all the way across the world? Nope. You're muted, Nino.
I'm like, what did we do? I believe we went to Ireland. Is that right?
You made a pit stop in Wales first.
We made a pit stop in Wales to go visit the father of Morning, Taliesin.
Yeah.
As we were looking for information because something has appeared over the Emerald Isle, my home. Something that we refer to as the Eye of Baelor, and trying to get information on where it may have come from, source, some history to fill in the gaps that I wouldn't know as a master of Irish folklore.
And Taliesin warned the group too that there were some developments in the garden, this sort of liminal space where people go when they die just before they head on to their proper afterlife. The place was on fire. People were going missing. In fact, entirely souls, some of the souls that were there were entirely annihilated. just no more of these people. He believes this is the work of a Titan. Not quite sure, but it seems that the situation in Ireland might be either heralding or is already like a parallel of what's going on in the Pillars of Eternity. Then you decided to pop over to Ireland. And I believe you had a plan going. Could you just remind me what it is as I get my book out?
Oh, I believe we had arranged to meet with a security firm that had a business relationship with Wolf Securities, but were based in Ireland. And we were going to use that to sort of gauge or see if there is any additional information or resources that we could use to better investigate what's going on.
Yep. The company name, by the way, was Celtic Security. And I believe you had like the better part of a day before your meeting. So if you want, we can fast forward the clock, unless any one of you has like something they absolutely want to do when you set foot in Ireland. Otherwise, we'll just move forward to the fated meeting with the Celtic security people. All right, then we'll enter the office of Celtic security. I know that Eddie has to go. But what about the rest of you? Do you all accompany Eddie, or I should say, Mr. Dragonsbane?
Where would he be without his translator? Like
right. His mouthpiece.
Yeah.
His chief of staff and his translator, who is D, and then I guess Finbar will have
Would
to.
you need me along as kind of a liaison for cultural relations?
Yes,
Ooh.
in fact, our academic advisor to you, Dragonsbane, newly added to the Wolf Security payroll with a sizable 7-figure salary.
And so you will meet with let me grab something real quick here. You'll meet with the, unfortunately not the CEO of Celtic Security. If only because, you know, they're very busy. But they are sending the VP of Public Relations. So you'll basically be talking to their, like, the highest position on their, like, public-facing side. And it is a woman who goes by the name of, oh god, I might completely butcher that. Charade? I don't know how to pronounce it.
Show us.
Saraid. Yeah.
Charade?
Charade?
Probably Charade. Oh, wait. I can hear it here.
Serid.
Serid. So yes, Sarid is the VP of Public Relations. She's a short woman, probably like 5'1", 5'2", and she has her hair up in a bun, sort of auburn hair, with streaks of red in it, probably natural. She wears very little makeup, and she's dressed in, you know, business outfit, so blazer, long skirt that goes just past her knees. She's not wearing high heels, she's actually in, like, loafers. But she approaches you with, like, a folder, I should say, filled with, I don't know, maybe like a 20-some-odd pages of something that's resting on her clipboard. And as she approaches you, she looks to all four of you and just takes the folder and hands it out. And just says, I believe we have a meeting. I'm Saraid. I will be your contact here at Celtic Security. Which one of you is... oh, well, and she turns to Eddie. Mr. Dragonsbane, I believe.
Mr. Dragonsbane will not speak, but he will just bow deeply with while projecting an aura of austere respect.
She'll just nod her head, but not bow. And she'll turn to the three of you, Dee, Finbar, and Kieran, and just hold out the folder for one of you to take it. You'll see that there's a little post-it on top of it, that's just written in, like, ink, Wolf Security. The moment you take it, she says, these are... let's call it a brief overview of the company, of what we've been up to lately. Of course, this is all, you know, publicly available information, but I wanted to make sure that you didn't have to put in the research and, you know, felt as comfortable as you wanted. We'll order lunch for our meeting, so you can just let our receptionist, Brian, over there, what you want, and he'll order for you. Brian, by the way, is, if you've seen the, like, Ghostbuster remake, it's basically Chris Hemsworth with glasses. And he just, you know, waves a little when she mentions him. He's sitting behind a desk, right at the, like, reception area. She actually met you, like, before you got to the desk itself. You barely set foot through the door, that she was already there waiting for you. Compared to when you visited Wolf Security in America, they actually seem to know what they're doing and to care for the people that they have, they make business with. So when you're done with Brian, she explains, just head on up. I'll go prepare the meeting room. We'll be on the 4th floor.
Thank you. We shall go there forthwith.
So remember, our mission or our goal here is to see just how woke this group is to the experiences that we have, and to see if we can find a way to leverage their resources to help us investigate the things further. Also see if there's any talent that would be worth recruiting into our organization.
So you head on over to the meeting room. Of course, it's going to be just you, her. You meet a few people going by, you know, just white collar office workers. for a security company, they seem to lack in security agents across their building. In fact, even most of the doors that you go through, like, none of them are electronically locked. It's just, you know, old-fashioned lock and key, deadbolts for the most part. The building is a little bit on the older side, but you would have expected someone to have, you know, kept it up to date, or at least made sure that you couldn't break into it. So you sit in this meeting room. You know, it's like a stucco ceiling with neon lights, a long rectangular table, somewhat comfortable chairs. It is very bare. It has no windows whatsoever. No clock. You have no idea of the passage of time unless you have a power that lets you do that. There's the soft hum in the background of one of the neon that's like just a little disconnected or just about to give out. And that is what will accompany you throughout this meeting. So she turns, of course, to... she looks at Mr. Dragonsbane, at Hugh, and then to the three others. But she'll do that every time she addresses Mr. Dragonsbane throughout the meeting. She'll look at him, but speak to the three of you. And she will ask, so, who here translates for Mr. Dragonsbane?
Oh, that would be me.
Good. I'm Sarade, by the way.
Miss Kinomoto.
Miss Kinomoto. Nice meeting you. And she turns to Kieran Finbar and says, and you are?
My name is Finbar. I am kind of an academic and cultural liaison for this fine corporation.
Emmett Oliver Emerson, you can call me Oliver or Mr. Emerson. I work in negotiations with Mr. Dragonsbane. Legal and otherwise.
Okay. And if I got my things right, where... Oh gosh, I left my file at my desk. Would you excuse me one moment? And she heads out. Leaves the door open. Takes a few minutes before she comes back. In the meantime, there's like one curious coworker, an older woman, clearly the type of aunt that puts too much perfume before going to a family gathering. You can smell her before you see her head poke through the door frame. And she speaks in a thick Irish accent that I cannot make, but she basically says, "Oh, aren't you a cute, a lovely group of people? What's your business here?"
Our business here is possibly taking over this business and being your future employer. So I would suggest getting ready with as much Blarney as you can pull out of your back pocket. I say with a wink.
She, like, backs out, looks left and right, clearly worried that she's the first on the chopping block. And she says, well, I have worked here for 22 years. I still have a good decade in me. I'm Margaret, by the way. You can find me. I'm at the desk over there. I work in collection. And you know, this company wouldn't survive without me. And she awkwardly like shuffles away. And you hear Sarade's voice. Like they probably meet in the corridor in passing, wishing her like a good day. And then Sarade comes in with like a binder, an iPad, and she like sets both on the table, opens the binder, begins to flip a few pages, turns on her iPad, and says, "Okay, so apologize for this. Where are we? Ah, yes, business with Wolf Security, I believe. You were the, you bought," and she checks on the iPad, "I think you bought Wolf Security rather recently. It's been only a few weeks."
Yes, it has been. We were the core leadership team regarding a very boutique security firm known as the Queen's Guard. And it just so happened recently that after a dust-up with Wolf Security, it was determined that it would be in everyone's best interest if we took over leadership of Wolf Security. And so right now we are revisiting all of the foreign relations with that Wolf Security has developed, and to see if we can streamline and strengthen those working relationships in order to provide better research and information to our clients who will need to travel abroad.
That is very interesting. And what made you choose Celtic Security? Was it our? I mean, we haven't done business, face to face. We've worked with Wolf in the past, but it was a brief contract, I believe it was. And she flips through the pages, and you notice. So basically, the binder is filled with these like old contracts or purchase orders for the security firm. And as she flips, she says, "Ah, yes, it was a U2 concert. Wolf was hired to do the personal detail of the Edge. Yeah. That's how it started. Really, really innocuous. Really, just a simple contract. Nothing that we would have necessarily remembered. We didn't really keep tab on Wolf Security, as it were. But I will say on behalf of Celtic that we are touched and thankful that you kept us in your mind before. No, that's this is just very, very strange. What exactly do you want with us at the moment? Because there are no big events coming up, and I did a few researches. I don't want to say that something nefarious happened, but this whole debacle with Wolf Security back in America, that seems a little strange. Wouldn't you agree?
While she was going on, you was whispering to Oliver, jot down notes as to investigate the Edge later for potential supernatural compromisation. These are strange times, in fact, and there seems to be an ever-growing number of threats that stem from, and he's not going to say really supernatural, but from unobserved sources before. And the newly reformed Wolf Security aims to get ahead of its competitors by investigating these particular matters with more scrutiny. which is why we are here.
Oh, and if I may ask, which matter precisely brought you to our door today? Was there anything in particular that you were interested in?
You Dragonsbane is just going to gesture at Professor Finbar, and then point up into the sky and make weird symbol-y finger gestures.
Yes, one of the things that has us interested right now is the fact that there appears to be some weird phenomenon happening. And we may be in need of using the local availability of your highly trained professionals to help us investigate some stuff that is possibly sliding under the eye of those who would normally be keeping an eye out for different disturbances within the communities. Could compromise activities, including and especially those in private security.
Does this have anything to do with the IRA?
No.
Because I assure you, we have
no
ties.
I assure you, this has no ties to the IRA, the Sinn Féin, or any of their offshoots.
Okay. Then what is it exact? Because I'm sorry, but the way you're presenting things, sir, it feels like the government should handle that.
Well, you might say that we're trying to step in some areas where the government's reach may not be anywhere near its grasp. There are some things you rely on the government for, and some things you take into there are matters you take into your own hands to help prevent rather than react. For the best security is preventing things from happening rather than trying to quell it once it has started.
Of course, I'm just thinking, you know, there are intelligence agencies. This is not us, do not interpret this as us trying to back away from a fruitful business relationship. I just want to make sure I have the whole picture before I talk to my boss about it.
Certainly seems that you have some hesitation. Are you trying to infer that you prefer something else from our end before further negotiations of this sort?
Well, to put it in very blunt terms, what do we get out of this? So if you want us to keep an eye out for something, I mean, this means dedicating some of our resources to your project, or whatever it is that you have in mind, which, you know, we'll need to hash out some of the details later, but we can't work pro bono.
No, you would benefit from our resources as well. We are asking for an alignment with your company, which means that you would also benefit from our company's resources and everything that we've accrued as such. Queensguard, which is a familiar name, no relation to the Crown of the UK. Queensguard is, well, with the acquisition of Wolf Security, we have resources to spare. And we were hoping for reach, what with the bad press that has followed us since, to do with the previous CEO of Wolf Security, which was not anything to do with us. We were actually the injured party in that regard. We are trying to give it a better face, which is what we are hoping to spread to you, is this better face. And we're hoping that you will help us in that, and we will help you in return. And by you benefiting from our resources, we will be able to use your services to investigate things which we don't believe the government may have either the jurisdiction or the interest in investigating, especially outside of, you see, Wolf Security had become somewhat localized in the United States. So we're not sure that they have the communication skills that we would be able to if we had bases in both the United States and abroad. If that makes sense.
I see. Here's what I would, or at least here's what Celtic would require of you. If you could provide us with a detailed plan of what your needs are and what you can provide in exchange. Draft it all up. I can look at it. Maybe give you some pointers. Edit it if need be before I send it to our general VP and get the ball rolling, as it were. This is. I cannot speak for the whole company, but I can say that if we are strictly speaking about an exchange of resources and potentially a way for us to maybe expand to outside of Ireland or the UK, I mean we probably wouldn't say no. It's just I'm not in charge. If I were, then things would be different. But alas, I am not.
Can we speak to someone who is in charge then?
Oh, she looks wounded. Kieran, do you mind rolling?
Oh dear.
It's a gamble, so I think we'll go with cunning and persuasion.
Okay.
No, actually, cunning and empathy.
Empathy?
Yeah, because here's the deal.
I don't care about this woman's feelings.
Yes, but if you don't seem to pretend like you care, she might take it wrong.
Okay. Oh dear. Let's see. Oh my god.
She looks visibly cross and says, first of all, and says +1 momentum. Well, then in that case, I'm afraid you're going to have to schedule another meeting. She closes her folder, takes her iPad, puts it on top, and takes both, and says, please, and she motions to the door. I think we're done here.
Jack and Spain's just going to hold his hand up and he's just going to say, we will be happy to schedule another appointment, but we will send along a proposal of the resources and such that we would like to procure while we are currently in the long run. But in the short term, we would like to meet with a pair of your veteran agents, I guess, in order to get them to provide their perspectives on the current climate of Ireland. And he doesn't mean that in terms of just weather, things like local news, what the general population is kind of feeling in those regards, what are the current socioeconomic and political issues and such. He wants to gauge, or at least poke into areas that might give hints or clues as to the nature of the supernatural phenomena that and its effects, without saying that he's investigating the giant eye in the sky.
Yeah. That, regardless, she wouldn't be able to see it.
Right.
There was a blunder. Here's what we'll do. Make a manipulation persuasion check. Okay. And we'll go with 3 successes required because of the blunder from Kieran earlier.
All right, so what am I rolling again?
Persuasion and manipulation.
And as a part of this deal, can he? He'll snap his fingers and have Dee open up the briefcase filled with very neatly stacked and wrapped currency.
Hmm. Okay, gimme. All right, put in 2 extra dice to that. Or actually, no. No 2 extra dice. Instead, we'll give you. I'll give you a +1 enhancement. So, whatever successes you make, if you have any successes, you get an extra 1. You would basically need 2 successes instead of 3.
Okay, I have 2 successes.
Oh shit! Yeah. So that's 3. So she eyes you in the briefcase and says, well, "I'm not supposed to accept gifts."
This is payment for the services of your 2 best agents.
Then maybe this will go toward the Christmas party fund. And she'll go and get the briefcase from Dee, if you let her have it. And she'll say, "We'll send our 2 best and brightest. Just stay here." And she leaves.
Well, she should be able to get herself a pint or 2 of Guinness with that.
Might even buy the bar for the next month or so.
Yeah,
good hustle, everybody. I think that as he's talking quietly with them, he's just going to say, I know this is very tricky in order to try to garner clues about, whether or not there are anybody here. There's anybody here that has a tie or at least an understanding to what's going on supernaturally. And we have to talk our way around it in order to avoid disclosing who we really are in our divine heritage. But, generally these, if this is as good a firm as we think it is, I think these folks would be at least intelligent enough to sense that there is something hidden or something bigger going on, even if they have doubts or aren't exactly the superstitious type.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be judgmental about this, but this is probably the most activity they've seen in a while.
True, but maybe
probably, but the Irish on a whole are probably one of the more superstitious cultures around. So anything weird or strange going on, people are probably going to pick up on it, even if they don't realize what's going on.
I mean, we did come in here and flash a bunch of money at them, so they're going to be curious no matter what. Also, this business talk is giving me a headache. I didn't realize we'd be doing this much, or else I would have paid more attention in business class. Because I have no idea what I was translating there for a little bit.
It's fine. I have no idea what I'm talking about half the time with these people, but so long as you make it so they don't know what you're talking about half the time, then it evens out. Just got to sound smarter than they know how to, think about real quick.
So it'll take about a half hour before anyone shows up. Is there anything that you would like to discuss more during that time, or sneak out, or whatever?
Whatever we discuss, I would like to use my complete privacy knack skill so nobody can listen in on us.
Oh, good.
We just keep looking at that at the other food, just constantly looking. It's like, Mm.
While we wait, I may just walk over to her desk and take a look at papers there, so I can use my palace of memory to see if there's anything there that we might be able to use later on as information to help us out.
She seems mighty eager to please us when she heard that we might be taking over the company. It would be probably easy to distract her long enough for you to take a look at pretty much anything you want on her
doing
desk.
this I'm going to do this while she's out.
Ah.
Quick question. Do you, so, you know, you're going to have to walk through, like, a room full of cubicles.
Oh, I thought we were in a separate office kind of thing. Did I misunderstand?
You were in a meeting room. Sorry.
Okay. I'm sorry. Okay, forget that.
Okay.
Then. I thought we were in a. I missed.
Oh, but you could.
That.
I mean, you could still just go out
Mm-hmm.
and walk around, and you know, it's.
I'm just going to walk around, look over people's shoulders and stuff like that. Wearing my guest VIP badge or whatever they gave us when we walked in and stuff, so they know that I'm not just some vagabond.
I'll still ask you, because you're not really sneaking around, you're not trying to hide yourself, but just to see if, like, your presence is noticed by anyone,
Sure.
Could you make a presence? It's gonna be presence and let's go with presence and leadership.
Okay.
Which is, like, the two ones that you normally would not want to have in this instance. But the more successes you get... Ooh. So... You manage to maybe, like, walk around half the room before someone, you know, looks at you from their desk, looks up... and say, like, can I help you?
I'll just kind of looking around, stretching my legs a little bit as we're here looking over your establishment here.
Oh, and he sees the VIP badge, well, the guest badge, and just nods. Okay, it's just some of that. He turns his computer monitor slightly so that it's, like, out of view.
Yeah.
Some of that information might be confidential, sir. I'd suggest you wait for whoever it is you're supposed to meet first.
My apologies. Don't want to be in imposition to you. And I head back.
All right, but you do have Palace of Memories, so there is stuff that you would have seen. I just need to remember. Palace of Memory is a... yes, it's a Sage ability.
Yeah.
Okay, so... Note it down somewhere that you have complete memory of, I'll say, most of the recent cases that Celtic was hired for. So if it ever comes up, generally what you saw was pretty much mundane. We're talking, you know, private venues, renewal of, like, outstanding contracts with public parking lots. There were a few. Apparently, Celtic does that too. They do primary, like, elementary schools and high schools, or whatever equivalent it is in Europe. They have, you know, instead of being a security guard hired by, like, the school board or whatever, like, they have a contract with the with Celtic Security. They also do a lot of business, like, you know, conferences, for example, and those type of things, concerts. Though there's not a lot, and that probably is the one thing that you might have found odd just looking at everything. Not a lot of big public gatherings lately. Everything seems to be, you know, renewal of previous contracts, or sometimes, you know, smaller venues, like a parking lot, like a...
So more of maintaining what they've been doing, not trying to expand or anything, to expand to things, to
It's even
bigger things.
I would say they're maintaining, but things are slowly degrading. Like
Bare
if
minimum.
yeah, it's bare minimum, and even then, you know, it might take a few years, and then they would go out of business.
Which, ooh.
As you make your way back to the conference room, back to the utter silence of the conference room, two security agents come in. They're dressed in the they still have like the windbreaker with the Celtic security logo on it. Underneath, so it's a woman and a man, white woman and an Indian man. They introduce themselves as Maeve and Vidya. They're probably both of them, maybe late 30s, early 40s. You would have expected probably older, but the way they introduce themselves and you know, they talk about their background with the company a little. They've been working here. Vidya, since he was 17, he started actually as an intern, and then was moved on to hired to give training classes. Even though he didn't have a lot of experience, like of on the ground experience. And Maeve has been working there since she was 22. So it's been roughly almost like going on to 20 years of seniority here. And they've seen a lot. Like, you know, from early 2000 to today. They've done, you know, security for the FIFA World Cup, or at least security for like venues that broadcasted the World Cup. They've handled riots. They've handled sporting event, concerts. Vidya also did bodyguard. Like, he moonlit as a bodyguard for some time. So he also, you know, will not talk about his client, but you figure like rich, you know, C-suite executives of some very prestigious UK companies. Because again, we're in Dublin, so this is still part of the, you know, this is the part of Ireland that's part of the UK.
Can I scrutinize
no,
them a
not
little
part
bit?
of the UK. I'm sorry, not part of the UK. Oof.
Could I scrutinize them a little bit just to read their body language, see what their current emotional state is, and you know, what their current mood is, I guess, with regards to this unusual assignment that.
Yeah. Do you have a knack for that? Because
I was just going to try to roll a manipulation and empathy or something like that.
Yeah, that would actually, it's not empathy, it would be integrity.
Integrity. Okay.
Yeah.
You can do integrity.
So manip yeah, manip and integrity. Because it's pretty much social.
That's great, because I don't have any skills in integrity.
Reminder, you have 6 momentum.
That's fine. We got 0 successes here.
Okay. Well, they're confused.
Okay. We'll just have to add 1 momentum to the pool. We're going to build that up.
But that's it. That's all you can get. Like, you know, the regular confusion that someone would have to be called to basically talk about your curriculum, not your curriculum, but your curriculum with like strangers from another company.
Okay. So, Thank you for accommodating us. What I would like is a driving tour for our group, and I would like to hear your knowledge of Dublin and the current climate of the area, and perhaps share a little bit of your personal experiences on any unusual cases or events that might have occurred within the past 4 to 6 weeks.
They look at one another. Vidya just raises an eyebrow at you and says, "Boss said to do whatever they asked us to do, so all right, I'll go prep a van. We'll give you tourists a tour of the city, I guess."
just for giggles, Reed Dragonsbane will pull out a very expensive looking Nikon camera as if to pass himself off as some sort of really Japanese tourist.
Mm-hmm. And they will take you around. Take you around Dublin, show you... Like, they're not really showing you the sights, they're more, like, showing you the point of view of a security company. Like, what are the places that are more likely to hire, like, to have a need for security? Which places actually have their own security, and, you know, the whole, like... bad mouthing of the competition and all of that. So they go into that. It'll take like most of the day, unless you specifically ask them questions.
Okay.
Let's say that the tour is very mundane, as far as it goes.
Competition, you say? Does this competition have a name?
Yes, it does. Some of them are called... so, the two biggest they have is Titan and Chantico.
Okay.
They ever encountered any situations or conflicts with directly in the field with any of those agencies?
No. So Titan Security, despite the name, is not the Titan of the industry that it builds itself to be. They offer like cheap, untrained agents, always according to Vidya and Maeve. So Titan basically has like the numbers, not necessarily the quality. More often than not, one of the things that Titan does have is a very strong legal department. Chantico, on the other hand, well, of course, Chantico belongs to the Chantico Corporation, which is spread. You know, they own like businesses here and there, banks, stores, factories, you know, security firms, the entertainment, media business. They're a little bit everywhere, like fingers in a lot of pies. And one of the things that Chantico has is money. A lot of money. And they can often afford to undercut the other firms. They'll do things like... Yep.
Do they know where the source of that money comes from?
No, it's just the name is Give me 2 seconds. I have, because the last name, so Chantico is the name of, the last name of the founder, but her first name is... Wow, thank you, PDF. It's not going to take me long. But I just need to scroll up. I only got the last name in my notes. But I'll give you the like first name as soon as I have it. But basically, it's a imagine a woman Rupert Murdoch.
Okay.
So rich business magnate, who has just built their empire over the years, and eventually, you know, just bought things here and there. So they have a lot of money because they own so much that, you know, it's because they own everything, they can just switch money around. Just move money around, I should say.
Have there been any incidents lately of people acting in out of character fashion, or maybe encounters with unexplained phenomena?
That's going to require a roll.
Okay. Guess we're just gonna have to cut to the matter here.
Yeah, we're going to go with I definitely want it to be occult, because that's basically what you're
Okay.
what you're saying.
Okay. In that case, maybe I need to nudge one of my
I can-
associates to do
I can.
that.
I've got some marks in occult. I can go
Okay.
there. I've got 3+.
I can
3
assist if
marks in.
need be.
So I think we'll go with because it needs to be subtle. It's gonna be a finesse. I'll say use the highest between cunning and manipulation, but the skill will definitely be occult.
All right, it's the same either way. I'll go with cunning.
Okay.
I can use
And
some
occult.
momentum for this as well.
Ah! The dice don't like me today.
I just don't like anybody today.
Can we throw some momentum into that at least?
I mean, you can burn momentum if you want to. Y'all have 7 points. Do what you want with it.
Do we burn a couple of momentum on this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, we'll burn 2 more. We'll burn 2 momentum
this
on it.
game is very unforgiving on dice rolls, man.
Hit it bad.
I mean, you're just rolling poorly today as well, but
Yeah, but still, it's hard on normal.
yeah.
All right.
Like, statistically, we shouldn't all fail all the time. This feels really harsh today.
So do I need to put 2 momentum on the sheet and re-roll it, or how does?
No, you just roll. Just type it in chat. Roll 2d10.
Okay.
And successes are on an 8 and above.
All right. So let's get 2 more d10 out there just for fun.
Oh my.
Okay, so 1 success.
Okay. Wait.
They don't really get what you're hinting at. To them, you know, they'll talk about people acting strange in the sense of, more like the general climate of the European Union, and how things have changed in the last decade or so, and how things were different back then. The contracts were easier, and there were less people trying to get through the cracks in the system. And counterfeiting is a big problem, especially when they do security at like public venues, like concerts and all that, where scalpers are a plague now more than ever before.
Fascinating. Not exactly what we were asking for, however. There may be a small difficulty in what we're trying to get across. See, we've been having increased amounts of, let's say, paranoid activity back in America when dealing with, well, we've just taken over Wolf Security, as I'm sure your boss has informed you. She's filled you in on this information. I would hate to think that she didn't give you the full story before you were set to give us the tour of the city.
Well, we were informed that you were, going to probably work with us on an international scale. Exchange of services.
Exactly. See, you're smart, informed people. You're smart, informed people. So we've been dealing with some problems in the United States since taking over Wolf Security over there, where we've noticed that some of our clients have been expressing paranoia about events that are outside of the usual jurisdiction of the United States and security firms, which we've decided to take on as part of our curriculum for our security. So things that might not be considered by others because they sound out of the ordinary, or they sound maybe too strange to be true. We've decided that if it warrants someone feeling unsafe, then it warrants us investigating it. So we were just wondering if there was anything to that degree that we might have to look out for when looking to associate with your branch here overseas, because we feel that that's a human condition, to be paranoid and looking out for one's safety rather than a purely American condition, if you understand what I'm saying. So has there been an increase in paranoia of things outside of the norm, outside of scalpers, outside of things that are normal human concerns that you've noticed?
Just on top of that, I'd like to use my knack called Good Listener. Mm-hmm. And the way this power is described is when you make casual conversation with an SGC, the character will reveal information or an important detail that the leader is looking for if they know it. So I'm supposed to inform you what I'm looking for, okay. which is any clues or details that can be tied directly to the giant evil eye in the sky.
They actually will let slip that there is one client who's been pestering them lately. It is the easiest contract they've ever got because nothing ever happens. It's the guy moved from shit, what's the place? Cambridgeshire. Moved from Cambridgeshire, basically the like Huntingdon area, and in Britain. Moved to Ireland. Actually, is now located just southwest of Dublin. I'm gonna pull up the map in a second to get the exact name of the city, but it's like a couple hours away out of the capital. Past the national park, they live in Dunnard. And Dunnard is a very small village. Very small. Guy used to be the owner of a sizable junkyard in Huntington. And he thinks that because he closed down shop and moved to Ireland, basically retired, but he believed that his dog from, you know, the apparently like giant Doberman he had, was pissed at him closing down shop and stalked him to Ireland. And accuses the dog of vandalism, destruction of property, and even breaking and entering in his quaint little home in Donard. And the guy's somewhat well off, and he's been asking, because the cops aren't going to do anything. So he went to Celtic Security, and just from time to time hires basically an agent in a van to just stay parked across the street from his house and observe. And of course, every time they do it, you know, nothing happens. So, guy's a little cuckoo, but you know, it's free money.
Is there anybody on assignment for this gentleman right now?
No. Last time he called would have been like, I'd say 2-3 weeks ago.
Could you take us to this spot?
It's outside of Dublin.
About how far would that be from here? How far a journey?
Yeah, let me give you that. It's an hour away. It's an hour's drive away.
Okay.
So, not necessarily super far, but, you know, far out enough that they don't feel comfortable bringing you there because this wasn't really what they were asked to do. But I mean, did tell them to help us in any way that we required, did they not? Yes, but they still don't feel comfortable bringing you out of Dublin completely. Because there are still risks. What if, and this is not something that they tell you, but like something that you can infer from their hesitation, you know, if there were to have have an accident occur, that would look really bad for the company.
Just as an aside to Oliver, I think it's time for you to flex your negotiation skills here.
I'm sure that you have legal concerns with regards to not taking us to this other location. That's perfectly fine. I'm sure Titan's legal team will have safeguards in place that wouldn't mind associating with our company in order to give us the extra consideration for these sorts of affairs.
Video rolls his eyes and says, mutters under his breath, like, goddamn Americans think they can do everything. All right, we'll bring you to...
Not single one of us is American, except for D.
I mean, they don't know that.
No,
He would be the closest of our characters.
you are, you know, representative of Wolf Security. So to them, even though none of you probably speak with an American accent anyway, they assume that you are, but they'll bring you. You know, it's they don't really feel like it, and the drive there is rather silent, quiet.
But just to mess with them a little bit, Eddie is going to take one legend and imbue the van with the chariot of the gods to raise the speed scale.
So it's going to take like 15 minutes, not even.
Yeah. I just want.
They're like, wow, we made great time. Google Maps was wrong.
Yeah.
He's just kind of curious to see if if they notice or suspect anything.
We'll see that after the break. We're going to take a few minutes. When we come back, we'll be in the quaint little village of Donard, looking at this, haunting, I guess. So stick around, everyone. We will be right back. Hello, we're back. So, the car drove to Dunnard, Ireland in record time. The group, you know, most of you are unimpressed by this feat. But Maeve and Vidya, like, they park when you enter the town of Dunnard. They park near a pub and grocery store called the O'Keefe's Country Store. And once the car is stopped, you know, they look at each other and then look, you know, back to everyone. And Vidya says, I swear normally it takes longer. It might just be I haven't driven down to Dunnard in a few days.
Or maybe it's just good company makes the time go faster.
It could be. Anyway, he points down the street. So the general store is like at the corner of a Y, like a fork in the road. There's 3 different directions, one of which goes back to Dublin. But he points down one of the roads, and he says, guy we were talking about, Mr. Peter Blum, lives like 2 houses down there. Can't miss it. White house. Kind of rusted metal roof. Can't miss it. He turned the sidewalk into a junkyard. You'll see the pile of stuff accumulating, and if you look, you can kind of see a few houses away a home where it's like perpetually garbage day. If you don't need us for this, we'd go to the pub.
Sure, we'll meet you there as soon as we finish up here.
All right. And you are left to your own devices. They are going to be further down the road to a place called Toomey's. So, if anything, they're like within a 15-minute walk of you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go see if this guy's got any knowledge of interest.
So what are the odds that you think that this dog that followed him all the way over is maybe another one of those wargs?
I don't know. I was hoping you had some sort of like mythology insight to say what this kind of thing might be.
Well, if it was a wolfhound, Irish wolfhound instead of a Doberman, it might be some sort of. I was thinking some sort of creature that was maybe sacred to the land that he was on, or something like that, or some sort of spiritual protector, or something like that. Unless he brought something back with him that he wasn't supposed to leave his junkyard, that maybe there was something there that's a little bit more arcane that he realized, and the dog might be wanting to take it back, or whatever is using the representation of the dog.
Oh, I'm sure we'll find out sooner or later.
That would be my first guess. Second guess would be another one of those warp things. Third could be manifestation of anything else for that matter.
As you walk, you get up to this house. 1 story, a beat up door, 2 grimy windows on each side. The rest of the building seems to not really have any windows on the front anyway. and it is, you know, connected to two other houses. So the wall, like, it's not connected from the inside, but I should say, like, the walls are right next to each other. There's no way to go into the backyard from the front yard unless you go through the house. There is a ringer for the doorbell. There's the door. And all around you, as you approach the door, you know, you have, like, a hoarder's paradise. A lot of broken down items. You know, there's, like, a tricycle that's missing a wheel. There's an old barbecue that's just, like, the underside has, like, rusted through. There's a lawnmower on its side, like, with one of the blades, like, broken off. You've got, like, a garden hose that's all tied up, jangled up. You got a few garbage cans. It seems like this person is, like, collecting trash to probably resell it or try to fix it. But you kind of have to step over some of it to get to his door.
Oh, this sort of thing is bad luck. I feel like as she's like stepping over the some of the cast-offs.
What, the accumulation of the stuff, or having to walk over it?
No, the accumulation. Object spirits thrive on their purpose, and having this much stuff accumulating, just sitting here, not living out its purpose, you get angry.
Would that cause, as they say across the pond, the natives getting restless?
Not necessarily. It's just it mostly manifests in things like ill feelings, general unease. They don't necessarily manifest themselves. Obviously, it's more of a slow thing. Not feeling right. Little bad things happen here and there. Just the more of it that you accumulate, the chances are that more of it's going to feel not right. It's more like bad feelings.
The bad environment. And the bad feelings spread the more that accumulates.
Do you feel like this person is doing this purposely to try to chase away or keep whatever it is that's chasing him from breaching this place?
I mean, it could be. It could be like having a like a scarecrow sort of situation. Seen that before.
Eddie's just going to look around the property, see if there's any sort of trace of beast or animal that might have been snooping around this place.
The only thing that I would say you can find just looking at, like, without moving any of the trash, as far as the passage of a dog, is someone threw a small plastic bag of dog shit, like, into the pile of garbage. But otherwise, no tracks. If you look at the windowsill, there's no, like, claw marks. Like, what if a dog was to always, you know, get up on its hind legs and look through the window? Like Vidya and Maeve said that Mr. Bloom seemed to be reporting all the time. None of that. Oh, and by the way, the way, like, street, sidewalk, and front yard, there's no front yard. It's basically the street, a cobblestone sidewalk, and then right then you have the door. So even finding tracks would be impossible because it's all stone.
Well, I suppose we should knock.
City are we in again?
Donard.
Dunard, okay.
It's like Donald, but with an L.
Okay. Kieran will knock on the door.
You hear from inside, "Just a minute!" Takes a while. Takes more than a minute.
Careful at the door. It might end up being Fibber McGee's closet.
Is what, sorry?
I was just warning Kieran to be careful when he opens the door. It could end up being like, I believe it's Fibber McGee's closet and have all the stuff come piling out.
Eventually, you see through the grimy windows the face of an older gentleman. From what you can see at a glance, imagine an older Tom Selleck with massively receding hairline and like oily hair just slick back on his head. But otherwise, you know, the Tom Selleck mustache, the bushy eyebrows.
This is the worst variant of Tom Selleck I've ever seen.
It's light brown with heavy streaks of gray in it.
Okay.
And he unlocks the door. You hear the sound of 4 different locks. Click, click. And he opens just a little. You see the door is still like locked by a chain, like a length of chain, and just his face barely peeks out. You notice that he's dressed in like this yellowed, used to be white turtleneck, and gray pants, wearing Crocs and socks in them, just to add to that. And he who are you?
We're with the City of Donut Animal Control. We were informed of your predicament. Do you mind if we have a minute of your time?
Well, that's about time. He closes the door. You hear the chain. Well, what took you guys so long? It's been months since I've been calling. I thought you were throwing everything in the trash or something.
No, so you were calling a security firm, but you weren't calling us. They informed us of your situation because, you know, it's not their business to handle animals. That's our business. So
no.
You know.
I've been calling the police. I've been
Well, it's
calling
not their
the
business either.
constabulary.
It's not their business either. We're a different department, you understand. But we're here now. So if you wouldn't mind letting us in and informing us of your situation.
Yes, come in.
Thank you.
I got tea ready. Care for some? Black tea.
He'll look around. What does the house look like?
The house inside is cleaner than the outside. He's not a hoarder. You get the feeling that it's probably his, you know, guy spent his life living and operating a junkyard. So, inside the house, while there's a lot of stuff, there's a lot of, like, baubles and, and objects, but they're not thrown haphazardly around. They're, you know, they're well presented as best could. Yes, it's very crowded, but all of them have been repaired, or they have never been broken. Seems like he just generally, you know, takes care of stuff, and whatever's outside is probably like his pile of his to-do list. Though you notice the floors are old and damaged. It's these old, you know, hardwood floors that haven't been waxed in forever. Most of the outer layer of wood has been sanded off by him shuffling his feet all over the place. The floor's a little bit uneven. The house is okay, not very high. The ceilings are like, you know, whereas your regular ceiling is what, like 8 feet in the States, this one is like 6.5 feet. So any tall characters in the group, you're basically almost hitting your head on the ceiling. He's Mr. Bloom is about 5'6", so he has a bit of room. And the ceiling still has these like old wooden beams that you see. from which he hung like wind chimes or just like decorations. And he brings you, so basically the way the house is built, it's all on the same floor. When you enter, there's like this little like living room, if you will, that leads immediately on your right to the dining room and the kitchen in the back. The kitchen makes like an L corner in the corner of the house. And then almost immediately after you step in, on your left, you have the door to the bathrooms, and a bit after that, the door to his bedroom. Door is open. You notice that his bedroom is like, there's a small corridor, maybe like a, I don't know, 5 feet, and then the bedroom itself, so that he doesn't sleep like literally next to the toilet. But it's a small, quaint home that would probably be overcrowded if more than one person lived there.
Okay, so the home is clean, and once we've been invited in out from the distraction of the junkyard, do we smell anything?
He doesn't smell anything special.
Okay, yeah.
The house smells like tea, and dust, and old books. But he himself is not a divine being. So, tea. He points to, like, each of you. Tea.
Tea sounds wonderful.
Tea would be lovely. Do you have some place we could sit?
Oh, yes. He goes to his, like, he has a circular dining table. There's only 3 chairs. If you don't mind, I've got some chairs in the backyard. You can go get them, some folding chairs.
I'll stand. It's fine.
All right, and he takes, like, today's newspapers, closes it, puts it away, cleans, like, the dining table a bit, and will bring, like, tea, milk, sugar cubes for everyone. He sits down and says, the moment his butt touches the chair, says, "You do not know how happy I am that you finally take this seriously. This dog is the bane of my existence and is soon to be a problem that everyone in Dunnard is going to have to deal with."
We noticed you only hired your security firms for short bursts of time. Do you have some sort of way of expecting when this dog will attack you?
No, I normally call them as soon as I know that Chuck has been here.
Chuck?
Yeah, my dog, Chuck. Well, that wasn't his name in real life. See,
Why don't you start at the beginning?
I was born in Lincolnshire in 1926. No, not 1926. 1946. That would make
Maybe
sense.
we expedite this until you, like, to the point you got the dog. That's why we're here.
Fifi. Yeah. I got Fifi when he was just a pup, and I needed someone to to talk to. Life gets a bit lonely in a junkyard. And junkyard used to belong to my father, who got it from his father before. It's kind of a whole family business type of thing. And Fifi was my only companion for the most part. And I didn't choose the Doberman in the first place. Fifi chose me. Aside from Fifi and Killian, I didn't really have anyone to hang out with. So the days were spent with Fifi on the junkyard, and let me tell you, having a Doberman there, doubles as security, so I didn't need to hire anyone.
Right, fascinating. When did the dog start giving you some trouble?
Oh, about a year or so before I left England. I had to close down the junkyard. The county was going to, get the land back. So imagine the land that I've been living on. Well, my father and my grandfather's business. Like, they never belonged to them. apparently something with old bylaws and whatnot, but anyway, they decided to close the junkyard, and I got very sad. And that same year, Fifi got sick and passed away. And Killian had been dead for a couple years before too. I had no one left in England, so I moved to here. Well, yeah, I moved to here. Let's see. You said keep it short. Yeah.
Why here specifically?
I could afford the house.
Fair game.
Also, I didn't really want to stay in the UK, and well, Cambridgeshire is good and all, but you know, Chuck. He says that like you would understand what he's talking about.
So tell us about Chuck.
I think is you're gonna think I'm crazy like everyone else.
Trust me, we're ready to believe you.
You believe in ghosts?
I'm from County Galway, of course.
Alright, well. I think Chuck is the, is here to make me regret not having spent any money to try to cure Fifi. Putting her down instead. This, look. I didn't want to say more to the security people because they don't seem like they would believe me, but you four seem like you know what you're talking about. And I can see in your eyes that you've encountered the dead before. Chuck is a one-eyed, ghostly black dog that has been hunting my life since Fifi died. It's this big, and he motions with his hand like the dog is roughly maybe half a foot taller than a dining table.
When you say hunted, how hostile are we talking about? Are we talking about stalking, looming, or have there been altercations?
Oh, no. It's Chuck does its own type of evil.
What kind?
I'm sorry, did you say Chuck or Shock?
Oh, Chuck with a C. Like Charles.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, anyway, he gives you the evil eye. He just looks at you, and you know this is gonna be bad luck, and you're gonna get sick, or you're gonna trip and fall, or you know your grocery bag is gonna break open in the middle of the street and just spill everything. I mean that happened to me last winter. Actually, lost.
Where did the name Chuck come from?
Oh, that's just how they called him in Cambridgeshire.
They.
Oh, Chuck is a legend, if you will. I like a you know, you do bad things to an animal, and Chuck is gonna show up. You stay out too late, and you're gonna encounter Chuck in the dark.
So a local legendary specter, then, for the place where he used to live.
Indeed, but I've lived there all my life, and my father and his father before him lived there, and we all knew about the Chuck stories, but no one believed them. And then Fifi dies, and Next thing you know, this giant one-eyed horned dog decides to follow me around.
Back up. You're adding more elements to this story as you go. First it was a one-eyed dog, now it has horns?
Oh yeah, it always had horns. The two big horns on the side of its head, where the ears should be.
Does this sound like anything that any of us know with like our occult roles or like mythology that we may have heard? Because we got two Irish people in the room.
I mean, it's a fairly local folklore thing in England, but it is not part of the Tuatha De Danann necessarily. However, you know, we've been talking about a giant eye in the sky, and now there's a one-eyed dog.
Oh.
It wouldn't be too far-fetched for you to make a connection. And you know, all four of you in your heart of hearts, you know this man is telling the truth. Like, there's just this intangible layer of oh boy, the opposite of disbelief, of belief, I guess. It just makes sense. After everything that you've seen, everything that you've done, everything that you know about your own existence in the world, he's not making shit up.
Does Chuck appear in any particular place in general, or is it non-localized?
He appears... Wrong song. He appears next to me. Well, next to me. He haunts me.
Haunts you?
I thought it was a Cambridgeshire thing. A Huntingdon area. But no. He's following me around. I mean, my family were never cursed or anything of the sort. We never did anything wrong. Swear on the Queen, we're just regular folks.
So, Chuck has appeared other places other than the property to you.
Has appeared back when I was living in England, and appeared to me here a couple times, and no one's ever done anything.
How long ago was did he last visit you?
23 days and 14 hours ago. I keep track of it. Try to see if there's a pattern, you know, because I always call the security the day after, and of course he doesn't show up that day.
That seems like a long stretch for him not to show up. Is there something that you think causes him to appear certain times, or is there just like a month between each time he shows up? Because that...
No, sometimes he showed up, you know, 2 days in a row. Others, he was just, you know, gone for almost an entire season at a time. Yeah. The last spring that I spent in England, didn't see anything, didn't have anything. Made me think twice about moving here, actually. Thought that maybe I got rid of him.
Is there any... This is to the DM, not to Peter.
Okay.
Is there any spiritual or arcane significance to the date 23 days ago?
Trying
to see if it's a pattern going with some sort of
not with
Celtic ritual or
days,
holidays or anything.
The closest you could think of is the lunar calendar.
Okay,
but that would be on a 28-day scale.
That'd be 28, yeah.
But then again, you know, he said the last time was 23 days ago, but who knows? If the dog shows up in 5 days, then yes, that would probably match, like, lunar phases.
Right, but then he said the dog showed up 2 days in a row.
Yeah.
And that doesn't match. Was there something that you did on those two particular days where he showed up 2 days in a row that you can think of that was out of the ordinary for things that you do every other day?
Not really. I'm very predictable as a person. I have my whole routine. That's how I live. That's how I like my things. I wake up in the morning, make myself well, toast with jam and a cup of tea, and then I read the news, and he motions to the newspaper, and then he says, once I'm done going through, I just take a walk about town, take a beer down at the pub and at Toomey's, and then probably go chat with O'Keefe a bit at the store, and then head here, go to my shed, work on whatever I feel like working on that day, and then, you know, about 6 o'clock, I'll head back home, watch the news, get some supper.
When you moved here, other than obviously your clothes, furniture, things like that, was there anything of significance or even an insignificance that you brought over here with you from there?
I mean, and he motions to like the entire house. Like pretty much everything that you see here. Well, almost. I mean, and he points to a few things. He's like, he's got like since he moved to Ireland. But he takes pride in letting you know that it took 2 moving trucks to get all of his stuff here.
Wait, so you moved elements of the property with you, all this? She'll gesture toward like the junk and stuff like that. That's outside.
Not the junk outside. That's things I found.
Okay.
And you say this creature comes up to the house and looks in the window.
Looks at me while I'm sleeping.
How do you know if you're sleeping when he looks in on you?
Because I wake up, I can feel it. You can feel it in it's like a sinking feeling, like your heart just dropped in your chest and feel ill, like someone walked over your tomb or your grave or something.
He's gonna pull out his phone and text D, be like, maybe there's an item of significance in the bedroom then. You have to pee, right?
Excuse me. Do you have a it's been a long drive. Is there a restroom?
It's right over there. Door, you know, first door on the left when you came in. Second door is my bedroom.
Okay. Thanks. She'll get up and she'll do the thing of like making a noise of walking and then shutting the door and then like trying to go into the bedroom.
Okay. Make a let's go with dexterity and subterfuge.
All right. The worst of those.
And remember, you have momentum. There's still 5 points in the pool.
Oh, I could probably just so if I need to.
Yep.
2 success.
So, you know, he doesn't even pay attention to you once you've left the vicinity of the table. And just turns to everyone else and, you know, keeps talking, says basically, you know, that you seem like you don't really trust them. And that's like pretty much the last thing you hear, D, before you head on over to the bedroom. It is a small bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing too fancy. a single bed with there's a dresser, there's a closet.
Okay.
There's a vanity, actually, I should say. There's a vanity there.
Okay. She'll look at the vanity and just... Have you seen anything, Spirit? Or Chuck, or whatever you are you here right now?
There's no Chuck that answers you, but the vanity does answer. Hey, gorgeous. Seen a lot of things lately. Not quite as charming as you. What are you doing here?
You're certainly a charmer. Well, I mean, probably doesn't get very many visitors. Has there been anything here? Any dogs? Any spirits? Anything unusual you've seen?
I've seen a lot of unusual things. I've seen things that I would rather have been covered for.
Yeah, you're in a bedroom, so yep, I understand. But have you seen anything regarding... He's had to say this a bunch. It's this Chuck, or this thing that he thinks is a dog that is waking him up at night.
I don't see a dog.
Huh. Which...
I never seen a dog here. Seen him, the old man.
Mm-hmm. It might not be a dog. It might just be shape, something that feels unusual. Anything like that. And another spirit such as yourself that is tied to another object, or it's doesn't have an anchor, that sort of thing.
There's a something weird under his pillow.
Weird.
It's like there should be something under the pillow, but there's a void. Ah.
All right. D is going to just check underneath it. Well, if we figure out whatever this is, maybe he'll be in better spirits to have people over or something like that, rather than just having this spirit or whatever it is, whatever this thing is, haunting him.
When you lift the pillow, you notice underneath that there is a torque. A brass torque. The end of which end in these sort of angry boars.
What are you? What are you doing here?
It doesn't reply. It feels heavy in your hand. Not just physically, but there is an emotional weight to it.
Okay. Have I felt anything like this, anything remotely similar to this before? Like in, handling in all like objects?
In
Does this-
objects? No.
Mhm.
In your
Or just in-
life?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Hmm.
When's the last time he felt incredible grief?
Oh. Oh shoot. I think I remember. Was that in
Oh,
was
it
that
could
in
be.
Winnie's apartment? Like something I think I got like
Yes, there was such. Yeah, I thought for a moment you would have gone farther out in your life and come up with something. But yes, no, that's true. During the game, the
Yeah.
picture with her sons on it.
hmm Huh. Her idea with this is that it's something to kind of ward in the way of that it absorbs those sort of feelings or absorbs ill intent, whether it be spirit or not. Well, it's curious that you're not feeling talkative, considering what you have a lot in you. And she'll just walk out of his room, not necessarily not being stealthy.
All right. You said not being stealthy.
Yeah, she's holding the object.
Okay. So when you come out of the bedroom, he's still Peter is still entertaining the other guests. Did you have any other questions? Like while Dee is out looking, there's probably time for like one more question to him before she comes back out.
Has anyone here in the town? Anyone else here in the town seen Chuck? Or has it only been you?
It's only been me. I haven't talked to anyone else about it, and to be quite frank, I don't think anyone would believe me.
What about back in England? Did anyone else see Chuck as well, or was it again just you?
No, it would have just been me. I mean, had Killian still been alive, I would have talked about him with him, probably over a pint or something. But no, it was.
Who's Killian?
Oh, Killian was my good friend of mine. Wouldn't say childhood buddies. We didn't go to school together, but we met. I must have been 14 at the time. Killian and I, we'd play. We'd spend a lot of time playing in the junkyard and making castles out of broken bathtubs and other, debris. So, children's stuff. We grew.
Understood.
Older.
Yes.
Yeah. I had to take over family's business. Killian went to Cambridge. We tried to keep in touch as much as possible. But yeah, we every Thursday night, that was our sacred night. Thursday night, we'd sit down at the pub and have a pint, reminisce, and talk about life. I would have told him, but Fifi was still alive back then. And when Dee comes out with the torque, and we're gonna end on this today, Bloom turns, looks at Dee, and says, "Where did you get that?"
All right, we don't have time to. You don't have time to get terribly offended about this. But what is this? What did you bring with you, or what are you keeping away?
And he'll say, and we'll end on that sentence. He'll say, that was Killian's. Or actually, he'll say, that's all that I have left of Killian's. And that's where we're going to end today. Hey, the plot thickens.
What is your deal, Dan?
Oh,
Everyone all right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Let's go around the table. Tell us who you are. If you have anything to shout out, we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna head out for the weekend. So we'll start again with D and go around same order as we did the intros. I'll keep myself for last. Lynn, where can we find you? What do you have going on?
Hey, I'm Lynn, Flying Cirrus, pretty much every place, Twitter, Twitch. You can find my art there and what I'm doing online. So right next time you'll see me is tomorrow. Excited to restart the Chill Cup Gunplus Sundays. I'm going to finally get into the big Sazabi kit that I really wanted to build for a while. It's a big, complicated kit, and I have to work on the backlog of kits I have. So we'll see where we're going with that.
Next, Anino, where can we find you?
How's it going, everyone? My name's Anino. You can find me on Twitter at Anino Gaming. Tonight, we have another installment of Invisible Sun running over on Other Doc's channel on Twitch. We start at 8 p.m. Eastern time. We have a full house tonight, which I think is really great. So looking forward to getting back into things with everybody there. And then I guess next week, you can find Hannah and I here with Simon on Thursdays for our Sentinels comics campaign, where a old superhero by the name of Bayani has taken 3 talented and promising young charges under his wing to help them find their groove and their place in the world. That starts at 8:30 Eastern time on this channel. So stay tuned for that.
Next, Robert, where can we find you?
Well, once after recovering from a massive hard drive crash on my PC, I'm almost ready to get back into streaming again on my channel, KY Hawkeye, which is how you'll find me on Discord and Twitter and things such along that line. Hopefully resume streaming soon with our Lego games, some more Skyrim with my character Eric Rosine and his companions, the 4 Horsemen of the Nord, and of course coming back on Saturdays with Grapplers Keep, my WWE 2K20 universe where numbered DMs, GMs, and RPG players from across the Twitch universe compete in a ring we lovingly call the Dice Tray. We have 1 belt holder here, actually 2 belt holders if you count myself here, in our current cast. So Hannah's is holding our Women's Hunter's Mark belt, which is a fighting championship where every time you stream, the belt has to be defended, and she will be defending her belt soon against one Susanna Grace, which is going to be a very interesting matchup there as well.
So we have our vampire lady.
Yeah, we have our different rivalries and factions. I lead the Cauldron, Grimjack leads the Black Roses Society, and and such. So we have a good time with it. Hopefully be starting that up hopefully soon once I get past all this mandatory overtime at work.
And last but not least, Hannah.
Hey, I'm Hannah, Hanimation Art on Twitter, Hanimation Studios, everywhere else. And you can also find me Thursday for Sentinels of the Multiverse, fun stuff. And then Fridays on this channel, 8:30 p.m., also with Anino, playing some Cyberpunk. And of course, every Saturday at 1 p.m. EST to play Scion. I won't be here next week because I will be at MetroCon. And then the week after that, Tampa Bay Comic-Con. And then 2 weeks after that, MegaCon. So if you happen to be in the area, be sure to come by to my stand and say hello.
Thank you, players, for coming today, this afternoon, to play with us. Thank you, chat, for hanging out. Thank you for the raids. And thank you to all of our sponsors, of course. For Roll20, Found Familiar, Mage Press. And as for me, you can find me tomorrow night. Tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern over on Praxagora's Phasmophoria as we begin Season 2 of Romance of the Blue Rose. It's going to be interesting. I might turn into a vampire. Then on Monday, we might be back with Rime of the Frost Maiden. You'll know I'll tweet about it on Monday. And then on Wednesday is the premiere of the second season of Witcher Roads Home, where I do not become a vampire, but we had our session 0 last week, and the fellowship might break after 5 minutes. So we'll see about that. But there's going to be a lot of drama, a lot of cool things, and we are heading to Mahakam. So we're going to be chilling with the dwarves and the gnomes for some time. Then on Thursday, of course, Sentinels of the Multiverse, our superhero campaign. On Friday, we're back with some Cyberpunk. And then next Saturday will be the continuation of our Scion campaign. On that note, thank you everyone once again for coming, and we will see you very soon. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.